Today I'm going to explain to you what a health coach is and what we actually do.
Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go, it's only up from here. I've been on my own, just running through the fields. Vivid for the ears, I know that's how they like. Yeah, I fantasize. Tell me that it's real when it's all said and done.
Hey guys and welcome, my name is Menya. As usual, please remember to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on future videos. Okay, let's get right into it. What is a health coach? Coaching is a relatively new field consisting of lawyers, doctors, marketers, personal trainers, and the list goes on. And there are basically two kinds of coaches. There are B2B coaches who are coaches who coach other coaches. And then there are B2C coaches who are coaches who work with people, clients who are interested in developing better health and eating habits or interested in getting onto YouTube. So really coaches teach any and everything. Personally, I work as a health coach. There is no strict definition as to what a coach actually is, and there is no governing body that determines who is and is not a coach. So frankly, anyone at this stage can be a coach, but in the fitness space, lots of the coaches you see are personal trainers who have essentially moved their business online, which is in large part what I did about 2 years ago when I transitioned my business onto the internet. How does it work? So coaching can be done any number of ways, but the way that I do it, it's broken up into 4 different phases, and each of those phases comes with kind of new training protocol, new nutrition guidelines, and each of those phases consists of consultations on a weekly basis, lasting anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, just depends on what we need to get through. And it's really during those conversations when the magic happens, because that's where we're able to actually exchange ideas, review what you were supposed to do last week, and go over what kind of action steps you'll have for the following week. I want to look like this model or person, can you help me do that? So I recently started working with a woman based here in Tokyo who said to me, Menya, I want to look like this woman, and asked me if that's possible. And obviously I ran into the explanation that it's unlikely you're going to look like this woman, but if you want to look like this woman, it probably makes most sense to train and eat in a way similar to how that woman trains and eats. And so the idea here, and this is kind of a Jeff Cavalier concept, but if you want to look like an athlete, train like an athlete. That applies to everything. If you want to look like a marathon runner, train like a marathon runner. If you want to look like a CrossFitter, train like a CrossFitter. If you want to look like a bodybuilder, train like a bodybuilder. It's rather intuitive, but really it can't be overstated. The way you train will have a direct impact on the way you look. And that applies to how you eat as well. So keep that in mind. Whether or not you go to the gym, coaching can work for you. The key is that your goal will determine what it is you end up doing. So if you said, for example, I'm interested in becoming more flexible, more mobile, and reducing my body fat a little bit, you don't really need to put yourself in a gym environment because you're probably not going to need strength train. You could essentially just concern yourself with eating better, getting restful sleep, and working on mobility and flexibility, which would be a kind of training protocol specific to that. On the flip side, if you said, I want to compete in a bodybuilding competition, that's a completely different kind of coaching that you'd be looking for. And you would absolutely need to be in a gym environment because that's the way in which bodybuilders train. Additionally, if you just wanted to improve on things like push-ups and squats and calisthenics, of course you don't need a gym environment. You could just do that kind of stuff outside, at your local park, in your apartment, anywhere in a confined space is fine. A woman, can this program work for me? Absolutely. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, when it comes to training protocols and eating guidelines, they're very, very similar. Obviously, the major difference between men and women when it comes to training is that men don't have menstrual cycles and women do. But in terms of its impact on your ability to train, it's not so great that this program doesn't make sense for you. To use my wife Risa as an example, she was never a client, but when we met, she was a lot smaller than she is today. You can take a look at this photo for an example. Once we started dating, she started going to the gym quite a bit because that's what I was doing, and honestly her transformation has been incredible over the past 3 years. She was very actively doing HIIT training, lots of Pilates, specifically pop Pilates, flow Pilates, and Fierce Camp. But after we started dating, she switched that up and started incorporating a lot of gym training, and it's astounding how much progress she's made in a really short time. So really that has to do with her, again, changing her training protocol. She went from looking like this to looking like this in about 2.5 years. Is she very active? Of course. She goes to the gym quite a bit, and she's a pretty active person in general who also eats well. But in terms of training protocol, it just goes to show, again, how you train will have a huge impact on how you look. So if you're interested in, for example, as a female, building a booty, you're gonna have to train your glutes. And you're going to have to train them using more than just your body weight. You're going to need resistance training. If you're a guy and you're interested in building upper body strength, likewise, you can do calisthenics, but if you really want to pack on size, you're going to have to do some kind of resistance training involving weights or some external resistance source. And then to bring it back to ladies, there's the obvious concern of being afraid of bulking. Bulking is only really relevant for either men or women if you are eating at a surplus and training in such a way that's going to lead your body to bulk. Bulk meaning obviously putting on muscle, maybe more muscle than you want. For guys, frankly, bulking is typically not an issue. It's something that we want to do, but for women, that's obviously a concern. And the way around bulking is to just, again, train in such a way that your body's not going to put on musculature that you won't find appealing. So without pointing fingers, there are some rather obvious training protocols that will lead you to putting on size maybe in places or in ways that you don't want. And if that's not something you want, just pay attention to how the athletes look in that specific environment. So again, have a look at top performers in that specific space, and if that's how you want to look, then that's how you should train. If that's not how you want to look, then I'd encourage you to consider a different kind of training protocol. The program is from 3 to 6 months long. It totally depends on your goal and how long it's going to take to get there. You should expect to see results between 1 to 4 weeks. Absolutely. The entire program, in terms of everything involving nutrition, is built around you, your preferences, and your lifestyle. So if you like eating between the window of 12 and 8, also known as intermittent fasting, the program is built around that. If you are a vegetarian, the program can be built around that. If you're eating the carnivore diet, the program can be built around that. If you want to do 1 meal a day, it can be built around that. Fundamentally, it's built around your lifestyle, so that's easy to implement, and it's something that you can actually stick to. Lastly, if you guys have any questions that I haven't already answered, please shoot them to me. You can write them in the comments or send them to me separately. I'm happy to help you better understand what health coaching is and how it all works. You can check out my website for more details, and as usual, please remember to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on future videos. And thanks for watching. Bye guys.